All right, this is Sean Francis, and
Cody Brandon.
how you doing? Let's talk about standards 6, 7, and 8. All right, and so as I started my lesson, I was kind of anxious about it. The lesson was on what was the lesson on? Cause and effect and sequences. Um, when I was kind of anxious about how the students were going to react to it. I wasn't sure they were going to get the concept of cause and effect. I had to kind of explain it to them, but as I went along, I explained it to them, and I kind of used real world examples for them to understand what I meant, and they kind of got the concept of what I was saying after a few real world examples. And then with the sequence, I had to once again I had to use real world examples for the sequence to let them understand how a sequence went. I think I did a good job on that. What would you say, Coach?
I was going to say the same thing when you broke it down, because even real world, for some of them, stuff that you would think would make sense, but when you were talking about if you don't go to sleep at a certain time, what's going to happen? And they were talking about their mom, and they might think of it as a consequence, but that's an effect.
Yeah.
You didn't go to bed on time. The effect is this.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good. And the sequencing, I thought they were going to have a little bit harder time, but I think they got it pretty good. I think it's one of them things that you'll just have to keep, and I would say, I know time restrictions and everything, but you could even break those two up. So it's like all right, today's sequence, we're going to do sequence today, okay?
Okay.
And then tomorrow, we'll touch on sequence, and then we'll start on cause and effect. And make sure they have that, and they don't get all three of them confused.
Okay, so what you're saying is I really could have broken it into two lessons, the sequence and the cause and effect. Okay, and what the reason I picked that story, the reason I picked that story was because of that story was like everything happened in a sequence. It was like, okay, so first the grandma or the old lady was chasing the gingerbread man.
Yeah.
Then the pig or then the animal started chasing the gingerbread man. Then finally the fox coerced him to get on his tail, then get on his back, then get on his nose, and then he flipped him up in the air and he tried to eat the gingerbread man, and then something else happened, and then he ended up getting dropped on the land, and he ran away. So it was a whole lot of things that were going on that it would happen in sequence. And the good thing that I liked about it that the kids were paying a very close attention to the sequence, that they were able to recall all the things that happened in the story. They were able to recall all the things that happened in the story in exact order. Now I had to differentiate teaching with one of the students and break it down a little bit more further to him, because he kind of skipped a part in the sequence. So when I broke it down to him, so he could understand what I meant and what I was asking for, and that was one of the students. Okay, so he would understand. But I think all in all, it was a good lesson. I think that, as you said earlier, I probably could break that down into two lessons. The next time I do this, which will probably be like next year, when I have the next set of third graders, I will probably break it into two lessons, and do sequence as one, and then do cause and effect as the other. Now, at the end of the lesson, I did have an assessment or a worksheet that I worked on, and the good thing about the worksheet was that it was a cause and effect worksheet that was it was a cause and effect that was on the story of the gingerbread man. So it said the cause and effect was, and it's right here. It was like it said the gingerbread man did not want to get caught, and then it had another one the cause was something, and the effect, it had the effect of it
Yeah.
right here. So what they had to do was they had to say what the cause was and find the effect on the other sheet, which was very intriguing because they had a little problem with it. But then when I had to recall the story, they were able to figure it out. So that was also very good as an assessment. So the lesson went very well. Okay, did you find that, Coach?
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say it went well, and I like the informal assessments you were given by asking questions and having them answer to make sure they have a grasp. And like, you did that a few times before you even got to it was individual based, but it was still a small group with the worksheet. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
made sure everybody had a clear grasp on what was going on and the directions of your worksheet, and then they got to work on it. But it wasn't just a straight, this is by yourself. It was a
group effort.
a group activity, so you can assess each one of them to make sure that they're getting a grasp on it.
All right. All right, thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right.